we're going to be doing is question and answers. Can you give me audience, please? Audience, please. The next thing we will be doing, he's going to be taking your question on any subject you may wish to ask him questions. We will give you time to ask you questions, to ask your questions. If we do this orderly, we will get to as many people as possible. But let me tell you, please, let me appeal to you. Sometimes people don't understand what a question is and what making statements are. You ask people to ask questions, then they start giving us lectures. The people here, we have a limited time to speak to director, the sprint leader himself. There are certain things that are blurred that you need further explanation on any subject, politics, religion, international relations, or even personal matters. Be precise, and I would advise you to please write your questions down. It's always easier when you write your question so that you do not stray from the question. You could make a statement or a statement of fact or point a press release and then ask a question as a rejoinder to that particular subject matter. So, but, sometimes I understand people have problems trying to express themselves, and that's why I advise you to write down your questions. And when you write it down, it's easier. You don't lose your line of thought, and you're precise. Ahmadika, are you ready to take questions? I'm going to call on a representative from Nnamdi Canada. We met with community associations, and they specifically, when we went there for evangelism, they said that we want questions, and we obliged. And I promised you that when Ahmadika comes, you will ask questions. And I'm going to call on Lambert Echelobi and Aham Mosu, the two people that are going to ask the questions. May you please come forward.
Thank you. IPOB,
one family.
Ahmadike, it's an honor to see you and also to ask you this question. I just have a simple two questions. One is this. I have a little concern regarding our neighbors in Biafra land, which is the south Niger Deltas. There has been a lot of issues on internet lately about Asari Dokubo and his group. What is IPOB doing about it? That is my first question. And then the second question is to ask you about your parents. We're all aware of the day the attack happened in your house, and we believe they were in their house that same day. We don't know their whereabouts since that attack, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As you well know, I don't respond to gossip. That's one thing about me. But regarding what we are doing about our cousins from the coastal part of Biafra, as I refer to them, because there is nothing called Niger Delta. Nobody comes from a place called Delta. Delta is a Greek word which means basically where a body of water runs into a larger body of water. Super. Where the river meets the sea. So nobody comes from a Delta region. Because if somebody comes from a Delta region, that means that those from Mississippi, Delta, is also related to them. There is nothing like South-South either. It doesn't exist. These were names concocted by our enemies to divide us. Most people in Ijaw land, including Ankyo, Briggs, and all the rest of them, are from Arochukwu, and they know it. They concede to it. They know this very well. Anybody trying to claim or imply or suggest that what we are doing in this movement is an Igbo-centric or Igbo-only affair, the person is mistaken. The first people to protest when I was arrested were our mothers from Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom women, the first people to protest. People walked all the way from Abo to Enugu. They spent 4 days on the road to go and attend a protest to make sure that I'm released. Those that blocked the bridge on Onitsha included everybody. So forget the efforts by the Yoruba media to drive a wedge between us. We are all one family. But as you know, in every family, there are normal people, there are people who are a bit very funny people. And we welcome all shades of character in Biafra land, and with the difficulties that comes with it. But we know that we are all seeking for freedom, and that is where we are focused, and that's where we're going to. It's a moving train. IPOB is the largest mass movement in the whole world. I said the whole world, but no. Because you see, but they don't believe it. IPOB is the largest mass movement on this earth. I'm telling you. If anybody claims anywhere they don't know or they have not heard about IPOB, they're lying to themselves. And regarding my parents, they are ill. But they are in my possession. Let's pray that.
Thank you, Hamadike. The next person is Aham Wosu. Are you here? Okay. The next person is Ike Wago. Ike Wago is a real estate agent. So if you want to buy a house in Toronto, you can meet him.
Yeah, Honorable Ebubedike, my question is, we really appreciate you coming to here today, Canada, for the first time. My question is, through your travels and meeting with world leaders, or for something like the powers that be, like US, Britain, and who else in the West, have they ever, in trying to negotiate as to what they can help us with in this effort, if, let's say, they come up with proposing to you, like the British, because they're getting something from the cabals, from the Fulanis in Nigeria, if they propose something about them giving up, us giving up some of the things that they're getting from the north, because at the end of the day, I know they will never give up whatever they're getting from that. If that's a proposal that they make to you, that we can give them some of the things that they get from the north for them to help with our effort, is that something that we are flexible on working with? Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very good question. The truth of the matter is this, and please listen attentively, I beg of you. If it were any other group of people, they would say yes. But Britain will always say no to the emergence of Biafra. If you like, give them the whole world. Because there is, you have the local village cabal in Asorok, headed by Abba Kyari. There is also a world cabal. They don't want Biafra to emerge because of what Biafra represents. because of what I refer to as the spiritual dimension of Biafra. But the other ones, they're interested, they're amenable. They want us to be free. But what they said to me, I will tell you in the open. They have not seen enough seriousness from you. Freedom is not cheap. Freedom is not something you ask for. You write a letter. I asked them, they said, oh, we have written to the mayor. And I said, what did you do after the writing of the letter? Nothing. If there is follow-up, if you're on the streets of this Canada, all of you here protesting, month after month, one day they will say, they're going to hear and they're like, what are they, why are they stopping us? As I told them today, you know Liverpool Football Club, that is my club. Yes, not because they won the European Cup. There was a disaster in a place called Hillsborough when Liverpool went to play Sheffield Wednesday many, many decades ago. Liverpool fans kept protesting for nearly 30 years until they got what they were looking for. I'll give you another example. Southern Sudan. Southern Sudan fought their war for 30 years. We fought ours for only 3 years. Now you see the difference? Tenacity and consistency. Tenacity and consistency. Now they know that you're serious. The fact that we surrendered in 1970, some of them were still holding it against us because they said had the war lasted another 6 months, that Nixon would have changed his mind. Do you understand? When you just don't wake up in the morning and say, I want to fight for freedom, if you're not prepared to go through the pains and the hardship and the sacrifice needed to accomplish it. That is why I said I'll sacrifice everything. If I die today and Biafra will come, believe you me, I'll offer myself to be hanged now, here. That's how far I'm prepared to go. But if some of you are in Canada, you go to work, you come back, you do nothing else. You go to one meeting or the other, and that's it. Talk about Biafra. Biafra will never come. You must do something. That's why I said, all of you here, believe you me, if you swear your government, because I am not a Canadian citizen. Are you following me? Yes. I cannot contact maybe your MP or whoever, but you can. How many of you have written to your MPs about Biafra? Or the people are dying? How many? Just look at about 4 people. And you know that politicians, they love votes. You don't like votes? Yes. And we have the numbers here. We can go to a political party and say to them, if you support us, we will vote for you. It's as simple as APC. But we have done nothing. So when I go as a lone ranger to the Canadian government, writing and saying to them, they'll be thinking to themselves, but you claim you have your people here. If what you're saying is true, how come they are not disturbing me? That's all. So we all need to try and do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramadike. The next person that's going to be asking question is Ike. Okay, it's here.
I'm so pleased to see you in person. First of all, you gave me a sleepless night for years, especially when you went missing. I could not sleep. I could not sleep. I took it very personal, like the day my dad died in this country. And I only connected with you just 2 years ago. I never heard about you, don't know nothing about you. But just 2 years ago, listening and watching you online, you taught me some things that I should have known growing up in Nigeria. I've lived in this country now for 32 years. I don't know nothing. I learned so much from watching you. I came from Eastern England to here 32 years ago. And your wealth of knowledge, experience, it's amazing. I told my wife tonight, I said, I'm going to see that Nnamdi Kanu that was always making me sleep late. I will come back from work, I will keep watching until 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I still have to wake up at 8 o'clock, having 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So I want to ask you, what do you, let me finish. This is my moment. This is my moment. Thank you. This is my moment. You know? He's a little brother to me. Okay, so this is my moment. I have come to the realization that God really sent me. God really sent me. I'm not supposed to be here for one reason. Because Okezie Ikpeazu is my cousin from the same compound. I don't agree with him. I don't share with his politics. They're all watching me, even back home. I don't care. This is me. I'm just like you years ago. I'm unbribable. I'm unsellable. Because if my people are happy, I am happy. That's why I'm here today. They can watch me all they want. I'm going to be in Nigeria in the next 1 month. I told him. So, I don't know if you have any news for him. That's my question. Okay.
I thank you very much, my dear brother. Okezie Ikpeazu's sins are beyond pardon.
That's right. You're right,
And you said this to him when you see him that I said to mark it somewhere. We will hunt him down, even if he's 99 years old, we will find him, he will stand trial and he'll be hanged publicly.
There's a Volkswagen car that is blocking someone, CCDM 452. Charlie, David, Mary 452. I repeat, Charlie, David, Mary 452. Volkswagen. Person that's going to be asking question is Amota Clem. Is he here? I saw him here before. It's left, I guess. Obasi Omuka, are you here? Please come on. Please, there are people that came from Montreal, there are people that came from Ottawa, they're going to be driving, so please make your question precise.
My question is, what is the okay, my name is Obasi Onka. My question is, what's the effort towards getting a referendum from the United Nations?
Our quest for referendum is ongoing with or without the approval of the UN. We shall hold our referendum for the simple reason, as I explained earlier. Her name is Zakaria Mohammed. She is the Deputy Secretary General of the UN. Yes, Fulani people saved up $18 billion as their war chest to lobby. That is why John Kerry can go to the north. That is why Tony Blair goes to the north. Are you following me? Yes. You know, when I say we are fighting demons, people don't understand it. So if you're waiting for UN to sit down to pronounce referendum for Biafra, we are wasting our time. Unless we compel them to. And there are only two ways we can do that. Consistent civil disobedience, or we go to war. That's all. Without war, they will not ask us to have our referendum. It's as simple as that. But we can compel them using consistent means of civil disobedience. Those of you in Canada must do something. Everybody must do something. Thank you.
Thank you. As we are talking, there's suya, like I told you, just in sticks. There are caps, there are t-shirts. All the efforts you're making is geared towards helping people that are in need, people who put their lives every day on the line. The next person that we're asking question is Bob Mba. Are you here, please? Is Bob here? Oh, okay, he's coming. I want to thank the last person that asked question. That's the kind of question we want to take, precise, so that other people have opportunity to ask questions. Bob is here.
Yes.
Before I forget, please, the spring leader of Indigenous People of Biafra is here. And we, members of IPOB, we must understand that these people are our clients. At no reason will you be rude or talk back when people speak, because we need them in the struggle. It's no longer time for you to use different words or different things. They are our people. We need them. And that's the message he's saying today. So when someone speaks, you don't assume he knows. If he knows, he wouldn't be asking questions. Thank you.
Shalom, Mazi. My question is, I believe there is there is a committee that is in charge of all this movement. And I believe this committee, my question is, this committee, do they have other Biafrans from other states, like the Cross River, rivers, and other Delta, inculcated in this committee? I would like to know. That's one question. Then another question is, if there are organizations from these states, have you had town meetings with them, like the Calabars, the rivers, and all that? And it bothers me when I think about them. For example, there are people from River State, Akwa Ibom, and all these other, what we call South, which I really don't believe. They are in this country, they are in this province. But I'm surprised that they are not here, they are not represented here. Like how many numbers? I mean, like, they are here for numbers. What I'm talking about, if we get together with these people, if we get together and they come out to show their support, I think it will give the zoo reason to worry. We shouldn't be doing this. It's like we are being like the sacrificial lamb, the Igbos. What we do is, sorry, that's not for me to answer. We should get them together. We should invite them, or you should have a town meeting with them, so that we will have that confidence that these people are actually with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. IPOB. Regarding your first question, the answer is a simple yes. Regarding your second question, the answer is also yes. If you listen very carefully, in fact, in 2015-16, there was a very powerful editorial written by Newsweek. In that editorial, they said that should IPOB come together officially with the Avengers, that the zoo will fall. You must also know, for those who are saying that we are not together or think we are not, Avengers started because of my imprisonment. The number one demand of NDA is the release, unconditional, of Nnamdi Kanu. It was only when the criminals started coming in that they started moving my name down the order. Before I left prison, I think I was at number 8. I refer you to what Governor Okowa said 4 weeks ago. Do you know what he said? What did he say? Can somebody give him the microphone to tell our brother what the governor of Delta State said?
He said, any day South join Biafra, Nigeria will.
Simple. So they are the ones wasting their time. They are waiting for Fulani headsmen to come. Like Obasanjo before they wake up. They are with us. And I know what other thing they are waiting for. But I can't tell you, only me and Richard the knows. It's not for this audience. And we will do that thing. Once that thing is done, you will see them in larger numbers than you even imagine. Thank you.
The next person is Emmanuel Duru. Emmanuel Duru. In absence of it, oh, okay, it's coming.
IPOB, Amadike, I must thank God for seeing you one-on-one today. I must say you're a great man. When you say that IPOB is the largest movement in the world, I'm surprised people don't know. I'm surprised. My question is very simple. In Anambra election, you were so consistent making sure that IPOB people do not come out to vote. But in 2019 election, at the dying minute, I think I heard your broadcast, telling IPOB to go out and vote. And you mentioned a lot of things, but it wasn't too clear to me, because personally, let me not use that word. Personally, I wasn't happy about it. Now, whatever reason that made them to give you that pressure is what you did not explain very well in your broadcast. So, I wish to know. Thank you.
It's a very good question, a set of questions that I like. And please, you will listen to me very attentively. Our people are Republicans. Understand this. When you're leading our people and you're in front running, once in a while you look back and make sure that they are close. Because there's be a way you'll be running, they'll look at you how you're running. They will say they can't understand this, and they will stop and be watching you. They won't move anymore. Yeah, Woroka, what do you do? I'm trying to explain something here. Our people, APC was counting on the boycott to rig the election in such a way that Atiku and Obi could not contest it. Understand this? And the blackmail came that we are doing this thing for selfish reasons. Our elders kept calling me one after the other. And I said, I want terms and conditions met. And they were met. If I did not call off that very boycott, IPOB would have been dead by now. They will say, you know, they call me boy. They'll say that boy doesn't listen to anybody. We don't want anybody to fail and they will blame IPOB. That is how our people are. I understand them very well. I spent 15 years studying the psyche of an able man. You're right. 15 years. If we did not call it off, we'll be dead by now as a movement. As simple as that. We wanted to. If I ask our people to sit at home and they sit at home, and on one occasion they're asking me to do something and I refuse, if I ask them to sit at home, they'll say no. That's how they are. We cannot afford to lose their goodwill. You are all Republicans, you paid. This is the first meeting I have ever seen, well attended, the hall is full. And they actually paid to come in. Yes. I've never heard it before, I'm telling you, because it's never happened before. I am being honest with you, it has never ever happened before. Will you be here if you don't follow this message which I preach? No. Did anybody force you to come? No. That is how we are. Anything I'm doing from today onwards, I will take the views of all of you here into account before I do. Because I'm not doing it for myself. There are some things you can see which I cannot see. You know, when elders keep calling you one lot, don't do, and you say, no, I must do it. You know what they used to say to me? This was what Ojuku did and he failed. They won't go to hold your mouth from my eye. I said, oh my goodness. I listen to people. I keep saying it on Radio Biafra. If I hold a viewpoint and your argument is superior to mine, I will drop my own and I'll take your own. And in the fullness of time, 3.5 years, you will understand that us calling off the boycott accelerated the coming of Biafra. Thank you very much.
The next person is Lawrence Onukuba.
IPOB Ohamadike, people my clients. I'm in your legal team, Muna Ifeanyi Ejiofor. For 2 years, we've been battling it. From magistrate court to federal high court to appeal court to ECOWAS court, we are still there and we will get justice. But my question this evening is, you made mention of we lobbying our MPs, for those of us that are in Canada here. And I want to know, because I believe this is a movement, we have to utilize help from everywhere. What efforts can we make to get people into that government? I don't want to call zoo or anywhere, but to get people into that government that we can work from within. If we have enough senators, enough House of Reps, even we can lobby and have governors. I think and I believe they will work from inside while we work from outside, and we'll get to where we are going faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister. I'm also very happy with your question because it ties in with the last one our brother asked. We wanted to prove to people that your PVC is useless. Also, the reason why Ibazu is still there is because IPOB is against him. So Fulani INEC decided they must put him there. That's the way it goes. When we boycotted Anambra elections, less than 3% voted. They wrote the figures and said it is 28% or so. Buhari got 3% of the vote in Abia State in 2015. Jubril got 28%. Is that possible? Impossible. After the killing. The zoo is terrible. Nothing works inside the zoo. If you trust your PVC, they will just wait for you. You go and do all your campaign, do your voting. They quietly sit down with their intellectuals, the professors, the VCs, and they falsify the figures. And they give it to whoever they like. That's what they do. The same person that you are going to vote in, once they get wind of it, that person has already failed. Or you'll be disqualified. And that's the end of you. You can't do anything about it. That is why we say we must destroy the system and build Biafra. Because there's no hope in it. Thank you.
The next person is Theo Mwogu.
Thank you. I have two questions. The first one has actually been answered, and that has to do with the elections. And because we are wondering when you made a statement about they have agreed to our request, and I wanted to highlight those two words, they and agreement. I was going to ask, who are the they and what was the agreement? The second question has to do with the membership of IPOP. Right here in Canada, we have so many Igbo organizations. Let me just say that. And these organizations are not automatically members of IPOP. IPOP is a separate organization, and individuals are supposed to register individually into this organization. Is there a way that we can change that dynamic whereby the membership of IPOP is made easier for group organizations? And we have done that before with some of these organizations, whereby we have a kind of group membership and affiliation, because the people we are looking at here are not just IPOP. You know, understand that. IPOP doesn't even form, you know, a quarter of the people here. So how can we increase the membership to include almost every Igbo person or every Biafran? Thank you.
First of all, there is an agreement, and at the right time, as I keep saying, because you know me, I don't lie. Now I don't have any need for it. I'll release it. But I don't want to compromise on you, but that's what is happening now inside the zoo. There are some things you have to forgive me, there are some things I cannot make public. It's classified information for now, but it will be released. I assure you. Hold it against me if I don't, but I will at the right time. Regarding membership. I stand to correct you that we are all IPOB, everybody is. Everybody is an indigenous person of Biafra. Collectively, we are indigenous people of Biafra. So you earn automatic entry into IPOB. But the thing is that there are some things you have to go through when you come into the movement. What it means is that there is this body of nation called IPOB, which a group of people are pushing forward, piloting a movement towards freedom. If you want to leave the crowd and come and be one of those at the front, pulling everybody together, it takes something. You have to be under oath. And let me tell you what the oath does. You will not betray us. That is number one. If not for the oath we are under in IPOB, by now our enemies would have destroyed us completely. I'm telling you. But arrest after arrest, killing after killing, we are still marching forward. Because we are under sacred oath to restore Biafra. Or we die restoring Biafra. Anybody, let me put it this way. Anybody who doesn't want to come forward to join IPOB, I have reason to question that person's parentage. Thank you.
The coordinator of Montreal just informed me they'll be driving all the way back to Montreal, and up to 15 of them. And so we're looking at time also. The number of questions we could take, they think it's rude working out on Amadike. So, just bear that in mind. So one of the ways you can help us is ask a question, just one question, not multiple questions. And at some point we will have to review the number of people. But for now, I'm going to call on Kenny. He's the proprietor of GBKM-FM, a radio station here, to ask his question. He's also a media man.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be in this gathering today. I've learned a lot. My question, I'm going to be brief. If given the opportunity, will you be willing to sit with Nigeria on the round table for a peaceful discussion, given what the Biafra has gone through?
Thank you. As long as that discussion is to agree where the boundaries will be, then I'm open to it.
Next person is Tina Take.
IPOB. Good afternoon, sir. I'm so privileged to see you today physically. My name is Tina Takem, and I'm from English Cameroon. I'm an Amazonian. Sir, may you live long, and may Biafra have their independence. I want to say that from a very young age, I remember my grandfather telling me that during the Biafra War, a lot of Igbo people came into English Cameroon, Amazonia, and we were by their side. In fact, I grew up, went to school, I have Igbo classmates, we have Igbo market, we have Igbo quarter. My question that is pushing me to talk to you today, sir, when our leaders came to Nigeria to plan, because we realized you cannot wait for people to give you independence. You take it by force. That is what we are doing right now. And our own stupid, I don't know how to qualify him, animal of a president, he's on his knees. Most of us seated here in this country, we have used IPOB to take our something, to collect our something in our pocket. It's IPOB. But when the audacity to catch our leaders and send them back into Cameroon, so what are you thinking? What are you thinking about Amazonia? I sometimes I think, I want to know your thoughts. I can watch your speeches. I can be inspired. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. But what are we teaching the new children at home? I think we should start by telling these children who they are. Because I think the media has brainwashed them to forget that these are Biafra children. Biafra has suffered a lot. You people have lost a lot to even have a lukewarm attitude. We need to take the independence by force. That is my opinion.
Do I need to respond to that? I think it's very clear, isn't it? I'm actually very happy. Maybe I should take permission from my wife to take her with me wherever I go. So she'll be speaking to people. When I go, she will talk to our people. We don't know the meaning of freedom. We don't understand it. We think because we fought a war and lost, because of that we should be slaves forever. That was the attitude of the slaves they brought to this part of the world. That is the reason why a black African is the only domesticated animal in the history of humanity. It's the truth. You may not like it, but it's the truth. Only an African man allowed himself to be trained like a farm animal because he lacked dignity and honor. To appreciate that some things are better than life itself. My dear sister, I am part and parcel of the Amazonian movement, all the way from London. I have spoken to some of your leaders, but I'm going to do a program in Chicago, and a lot to be revealed. Somebody mentioned Niger Delta, South. They went and duped the Amazonians, took money from them, and did nothing. I was expecting them to rise up and campaign for the release of the leaders of Amazonia when Zoo captured them. The mistake that they made from Amazonia was to travel to the northern part of the zoo. They should have come to Biafra land, where protection would have been provided for them. I have spoken to their leaders, as I said, and they are part and parcel of what we are trying to accomplish. That nations must emerge from the colonial contraptions built by the Europeans. Because some of you don't know one simple logic. When I give you a name, I control you. That was why Muhammad Ali changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. Most of the very conscious African Americans, when they were freed as slaves, took up African names, or took up not African names, but should I say Islamic names. The fact that a white man created Nigeria, listen carefully, makes you his property forever and ever. As long as you preserve that name, Nigerian, you are lower than an animal. Simple logic, common sense. Look at India. After their independence, they changed the names of their cities to what
they know it to be. You're telling me that a white man can come from Europe, go to Africa and say, you, from today your name is Nigeria. And you stupidly and foolishly stand up to say, I am a proud Nigerian. There's something wrong with your brain. Half of Yoruba people are in Benedahom. I said half. Yoruba can make a very strong nation. A Yoruba and Oduduwa nation. Why are you fighting and dying for the boundaries drawn by a white man? I'm asking black people. That shows you're inferior. And that is what Biafra has come to change. They may not like it, but it is going to happen. Biafra is going to be free. And Ambazonia will be free as well.
My apologies to Ike Kundichi. Actually, it was an oversight. Can you please come and ask your question?
IPOB, one family. IPOB, one family. My question is this, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, welcome coming to Canada. I want to know what you are doing to tell some of our youth to tone down their voices on social media. We have some genuine Yoruba people who really want us to have our independence. But some of our youth are very, very vulgar. They will attack you when you ask them simple questions. They will insult you. I have nieces that are Yorubas. My senior sister is married to an Elaje man from Ondo State. I could not see myself insulting. We should apply what is called diplomatic, intellectual debate. Fight with Yorubas intellectually, not being insultive. I've seen two Yorubas here that are supporting our cause. What are you doing to tell our youth to take it easy? I've tried to speak to some of them. They will call me saboteur, call me all kind of names. You cannot. We saw how Fayoshe and Femi pioneered the FFK. They were the two guys that came to see before the criminologists of Cal came to see. We have a genuine Yorubas who are supporting us. You are ready to give us. You are ready to support us. What are you doing to tell our youth to take it easy? Thank you very much.
IPOB. I have to say that maybe they learned it from me. Because we confront fire with even a bigger fire. We know there are good Yoruba people. I have not said this in public before, but I will say it today here in Canada because you're a distinguished audience, I must say. IPOB attended the last birthday of Pa Aya Debanjo, and we gave him a gift. We acknowledge genuine Yoruba leaders who are consistent. Consistency. We banter sometimes, you know, when Yoruba, some of them say we are Biafra, you don't expect them to be quiet. They go after them. And I hope that one day we'll be very good neighbors with the Yorubas. Because we have a lot to share together. In Oduduwa and also in Biafra, but not in Nigeria. Are you following me? Yes. Yes, not in Nigeria. Yes. You know, in the Bible, Abraham said to Lot, we are of the same blood. But your goat is eating the grass of my sheep. And my cow is eating the grass of your other little cow. So to avoid problem, take right or you take left, let me go the other way.
Isn't it? FFK is my in-law. Ayo Fayoshe is a darling of Biafra. If you ask people, they will tell you. But this IPOB has been trained to be vicious because we don't know where our enemies are coming from. So the best form of defense is to... Thank you.
Thank you. Is Dr. Emmanuel Anoche here, please? Dr. Emmanuel Anoche.
Thank you, Omanike. Thank you for your efforts you have made so far to restore Biafra. As one of the Biafran soldiers during that time, I understand clearly that the Hausa Fulani did not defeat Biafra through the conventional wars. And that was why they invented divisive means. And that was what we thought they defeated Biafra. And we call it saboteur. Now, they have started again to use that system to fight Biafra by dividing us. My question is this: what are you doing, or what are we doing to unite each and every pro-Biafran group? Because I know that there are many, and through what I am seeing in social media, I don't think there is unity among them. So my question is, what are we doing to unite them? Because we are fighting a common enemy, and when we are united to fight this common enemy, within a couple of weeks, they are defeated. Thank you.
Thank you. He said there are many pro-Biafra groups. And I'm sure by next week, maybe we might have another 4 join the existing ranks. There is something that is wrong with us, which we must cure ourselves of. You know, we come from a very competitive culture, where if I hear that you're in car importing business, I join. Is that correct? Yes. So when people come and say they are praying for Nnamdi Kanu, future and for IPOB, there are people who want people to also pray for them. And if by starting a pro-Biafra group is the way to accomplish that, then so be it. What is the motive of these people? Where are we going to stop? You have 4 people drinking in a beer parlor. They contribute money, maybe 4,600 naira. They see a journalist with bathroom slippers walking. You know, they don't pay them. And you call the journalist and you, out of the 4,500, you give him 4,000. Say, please write press statement. We are calling for this and we are calling for that. Our name is Biafra Liberation Council. And they write. And then you think there is a new pro-Biafra group. Also, 4 people. Are you following what I'm saying? Everybody is important, yes. But IPOB is puritanical. We are uncompromisable. Can you live with that discipline? That is the issue. We don't want you to come in, as some people have done, and mention their names on Radio Biafra, and the next day they receive alert and they start talking rubbish. That's why I don't praise people anymore. Because I praise somebody and they go and collect money and start to talk nonsense. There are no pro-Biafra groups. There's a bunch of people online with fake accounts talking rubbish. If you say you're a pro-Biafra group, who is your leader? Let that leader come to Canada. Let me see people who pay to see him or her. Are you following what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're a pro-Biafra group, what have you done? Is it pro-Biafra on Facebook? How is it pro-Biafra on Facebook? We are dying on the ground. We are fighting for an herdsmen. On the ground. What have you done? As a pro-Biafra group, I ask. If not to be informant to the zoo. That is why we are formidable. That is why we are unbreakable. IPOB is unbreakable. When we say one family, we mean it. IPOB! One family!
I don't know whether people read Obasanjo's statement. He said that Nigeria is being Fulanized and Islamized. But he did say something. He said the only people that are prepared and seem to be safe is the Eastern Nigeria.
And why is that? Because of IPOB.
And why is that? Because we have soldiers on the ground. You people don't know what we do. But every vigilante is laced with IPOB people. And when the Fulanis come to any community, there are people there waiting for them. So we are protecting you. The next person is Ethel Obi Ezekiah. Ethel Obi Ezekiah.
IPOB. One family. IPOB. One family. I'm privileged to see you in person today, Ahmadike. Chubu Kiki Abiyama, Gechebegi, Gedugi, Yeni Line Alo, Chubu Kiki Abiyama, Genyanye, Ikikre, Ije Merinde, Irai. My question this evening is, like the last speaker said, the previous one, he said we have a lot of saboteurs, and my question is, we have all these governors in the East. What are we going to do to them so that this cause of Biafra will be achieved? Good question.
Most of the governors that you have were planted by the Fulani Caliphates to serve them. And that move started since 1976. Mbappe was an aberration. They missed him and Nwobodo then. But you see, over the years, they managed to get Nwobodo as well. Only Mbappe stood very firm till his death, which is why we shall always honor him. Because he's a good man. He fought in the Biafran War, if you don't know, and became a governor. You can see the love of his people flowing through him. All these chaffs you are seeing, Go Zodema, 419 in Lagos, in Lagos. You don't know that before? Or is it armed robber, highway robber in Benin? These are the people they are bringing for you to be your governors. If he wants to be governor, I can take him to the north. He will do Rankadede, lie down for one smelly idiot, illiterate. And the Toban, Kaya Beshit, in his bandage and Toban. And they will say he's an Igbo leader. No, that's how the leaders emerge. Ogurogu Memme, red cap. And with walking stick and that. And there you have an Igbo leader. When Fulani are attacking his village, and you ask him, what do you have to say? He will say, we should not do anything to disturb the peace. These governors, we are going to do to them exactly what Mossad did to Nazi officers. Go and read the textbooks, you will see what happened to them. There will be no forgiveness. They can do every amount of treachery and sabot they like. They can never stop Biafra from coming. And when Biafra comes, they will not only pay for it, their families will pay, and there will be no pity. Oh, so you think they will kill us at Tumpo? Massacre us in Aba, and then we forgive everybody like that? Cap and nonsense. We won't forgive anybody. That's right.
Habadike, the first time you came during your first missionary journey, there's a man called Uche Zuma, Uche Mami. He hosted you in his house and you broadcast for 7 days. Uche is here today. You asked after him when we were in the hotel. You said, where is my friend Uche? And he wants to ask you a question, Uche.
Zuma, Aruchuku. They are no Maya like me. Just wanted to ask, you've been to Israel. You've been to Israel for a while. Just, you might not share the input or whatever that we are not privy to know. But what are and we know that you have a, we used to have a defense fund. Is this still on? Because lately, we've not had anything about it. And there's areas. Hello? There are areas that I wanted to mention that have been touched on already. Because you have people claiming to be Igbo leaders. They make utterances in Abuja, and there's no repercussions. And what are we doing about that? And how are we going to checkmate these people? I want to get an answer. And precisely, Israel, what
Thank you very much, Uche. When I was in Canada last time, he kindly hosted me with his beautiful wife and children. And when I came into Canada, I asked after him. I will answer your question this way. You know, Igbo men gossip a lot. It's the truth, I'm being honest with you. Igbo men gossip more than the women. And that is why every Igbo meeting in the world headed by a man, they have a faction inside it. But check all the women groups all over the world. They are one and intact. If our mothers were gossiping in 1929, they wouldn't afford the white man in Aba. Because the men, I got never na class, they do not need you which is a good friend of mine. And I hope he has not fallen victim to gossip. Come on, you can become. Defense fund, defense fund. How many of you here paid defense fund? Raise your hand up. So people are asking me for defense fund in Canada. We are only one person paid. My brother, how much did you pay?
I paid 350. Somebody here paid 450. That's me. Husband and the wife 450. I paid 350.
Who else paid?
Who else? Me.
There's two people.
Why you ask defense fund?
Oh, say to go. But if you're reading about defense fund, you will think the whole world contributed. They asked me about our transmitter. Uche, my dear brother, he's an Omahian. And I told him about the transmitter, and today the transmitter is in Abuja with DSS. The reason why those that feed Uche gossip do that is because they want me to reveal the source of our strength, that our enemies may know.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't tell them.
So if I come here the way I would normally have behaved before, to say, oh, this is our defense fund, it's in this account, it's this much, then the zoo will not only look for it, they will calculate the amount of weapons we can buy with it, and they will buy 4 times that amount to wait for us. Simple common sense.
Welcome.
I don't want to embarrass our people by telling the world how much is in the defense fund. To be honest with you. So it's embarrassing to actually say it. And all those people that gossiped to you, ask them to produce their receipt with which they paid defense fund. The answer is 0. They never paid. But because we love gossiping, do you know why they ask you about defense fund? Do you know why? They want to discourage you from contributing towards IPOB. If they poison your mind, you stop contributing, this movement will collapse. And then they will say, oh, we told you, they cannot get you Biafra. But I know them very well. Because if you mess up in IPOB, I will dismiss you. Never to come back. Highest in the actually for 2 weeks and I think 3.5 days. I think it's about 2 weeks. Or 8 days gonna last. Actually it's 8 days. The same people that leaked, stole my phone and published the video of me and my beautiful wife, thinking that people will hate me. People then started posting pictures of themselves and their wives and they ran away. Stop listening to gossip. Gossip is for people without plan and without any project. We are IPOB. Anything I say I'm going to do, I do it. Do you think Israel will take me seriously if I come out to say to the world we have XYZ amount of money in our defense fund? Eh? Do you know how many armored cars that Canada has? Armored vehicles, do you know? No, do you know? I'm on the cars, you don't even know how much, but you want me to tell you how much you have in the defense fund. Oh, no, we'll see. IPOB!
One family!
The next person is Honorable Acho Humphrey.
No? You have a great
Thank you, Ezechiel. It's a pleasure having you here, Prince Nnamdi Kanu. You're a very smart student of history. I know that in every struggle, there are stages. So, what is the stage of this struggle at this moment? And you know that the most powerful weapon in war is hunger. I just got back last night from my village, and hunger is driving our people into the camp of our enemies. The youth, they are losing the steam of IPOB struggle because they are hungry. At this stage, I expect IPOB to start formulating economic policies that will not make our youth depend on the crumbs coming from these dirty governors. I expect at this moment that IPOB will be doing what we were doing before the Biafran war, refining our oils, having robust healthcare system. At this time, I would also like to suggest, let us bring back Tales by Moonlight. The younger generation, they do not understand much about what you're doing. Let us bring back Tales by Moonlight. Before they go to bed, we'll read them stories, we'll gather around the fire and tell them what you are doing. This is how this struggle will go to the next level and we'll get to where we're going. Thank you.
He said that people are hungry and what are we doing about it? My dear brother, welcome your question, by the way. I went to Israel as part of the negotiations and discussions with certain people in Israel. We are arranging to get our people, our young people, meaningfully employed back home by becoming the food basket of not just Biafra land or the wider zoo that our neighbors, but all of West Africa. I went to Israel and I negotiated. I came on radio and announced it, that we need farmland to start doing some very wonderful things. You know what they did? For those asking me about defense fund, ordinary agriculture. Not defense fund, ordinary agriculture and plant, tomatoes. All these little things. Okay, Bazu went and visited the Israeli. Yes? Yes. Okay, Zibazu went to Israeli embassy to say, why are you discussing with that terrorist when you can partner with Abia? Are you listening? Yes. Because any announcement I make in the public, the zoo will send one of their idiots to go and work against it. That is why we don't announce everything in public anymore. Understand this very well. And since that time, the Dr. also went to the Israeli embassy. Has anything happened in Abia? It's just to spoil it. He asked me the phase we are in right now, and I call it the phase of gathering. Not in the Pentecostal church sense, please. This very seed that was planted in 2012, 13, 14, 15, through my incarceration and all we've been through. Now we are gathering people together to assign roles and duties to go into the next phase. If we can get people here in this hall to lobby, to protest, to rally, to disturb the authorities in this very Canada, then we would have gone a long way. But if you do nothing here, nothing is going to happen. Understand this very well. And regarding Tales by Moonlight, I'm sure that if we're running around the fire and discussing, Dave Umahi will send the army to go and kill everybody. That's the problem. Then we have to take care of their kids, or even the kids, we have to bury them, we have to take care of everybody, and it costs money. And then somebody will come on air and ask me, all that dues we are paying, what are we doing with it? But now that people are in prison, nobody is asking me how we're going to bring them out. Nobody is asking me how do we sustain Ejiofor and his crew to do their work. IPOB.
Next person is Anayo Okori. Are you here?
Thank you. IPOB. Amadike. You are a sage, a living sage. You are an oracle. Every one of us here today, if I'm speaking the minds of everybody, admires you. Keep on fighting, we are behind you. My question is this. During your incarceration in Nigeria, and let me make this clear, the fear of Nnamdi Kanu is the beginning of wisdom for Buhari. Buhari went, Buhari there went on his knees. I believe there must have been some efforts to meet with you, because I tell you, they were scared, and they are still scared. Was there at any point, and this is a follow-up to a question somebody asked before about negotiation, was there at any point that, the Buhari or his agents met with you, and if they did, were there conditions that they gave you that you refused? Very straightforward question. Thank you.
Yes, on various occasions they sent people to me. And I said before I speak to them, I also give my conditions, which I know they couldn't meet. It's not possible for them to meet it. And I did it deliberately, because I didn't want to speak to them. They sent Ojo Zokaro to come to me, first to my parents. My father said no, my mother said no, that where I stand is where they stand, in life or in death. And they came to prison. I was even from DSS dungeon. The promises came. Vice President, anything you want. You have a very beautiful wife, you better go and enjoy her than being in prison.
Wow.
Anything you want. And I said no. That what I want is a referendum to determine if you good people want to be part of the zoo or part of Nigeria, or part of Biafra. Choose one, zoo or Biafra. They said no. And Sibajo tried to make contact. When I came out, I don't know if I've told this story before actually. And Ohaneze hijacked it. I went to see Nia Wode in his house. We sat down, had lunch together. And I told him what my conditions were to lift the boycott in Anambra State, which they couldn't meet. And I said to Wode very simply, go to Abuja and tell these people that these are what our people are asking for. I said to him, go and bring us something. Not for me, for everybody. He went there and started negotiating for a ministerial position for one of the children. I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is fact, ask him. Somebody asked him, but you people are being called to Aso Rock because of Nnamdi Kanu. Why didn't you tell him that you're going to Aso Rock? He said it is for Igbo leaders. And once the powers that be knew that he hadn't IPOB support, they just gave them 5 million naira for transport and dismissed them. Hadn't Nyawodo remained with me, when the governors called me, I told them the same thing in front of Professor Ben Wabeze. They said, oh, but Nwodo, Soludo, Ebremad is upstairs. Do I want them to come? I said, no. Government House, Enugu. The former DSS director came with his bags of money in euros, in white sacks to bribe. Ask anybody working in Government House in Enugu. I said, no, I don't want to see them. Not because I want to be the only cock crowing, no. Because of consistency. Can you last? When you're tempted, are you going to succumb? Can you sustain this very effort we're making? So they have come. And I gave them my conditions which they can never meet. Open Warri Seaport, open Iguacha Seaport, open Calabar Seaport. Make Enugu an international airport where we can fly to US and come in at will. Build Iguacha, Enugu, Onitsha, Enugu Express Road. Complete second Niger Bridge. Are these things difficult?
No. They are not difficult.
As I'm telling you this, go and ask them in Aso Rock if your friends there. They have the piece of paper I gave to them. They ran away. Because some Igbo men were busy gossiping, saying if you allow him, when he finishes fighting Nigeria, he will come here and fight us and kill all of us. That's what they said. And you know one other thing they said? They told every Igbo billionaire around the world that nobody should give me one dime. Ask them that if you give Nnamdi Kanu money, he will go and buy weapons. That nobody should give me anything. I'm going to Gabiga, you won't believe it. That we are here by the grace of Elohim, not by any of our strength, to be honest with you. Any day we are serious, the world will know. How do you want Canada to regard the Biafra referendum or even USA? The people that the ambassador knows are the governors, or maybe Ohaneze. Did you people not hear that British government went to Biafra land when I was in prison? Oh my goodness. The British High Commissioner was touring everywhere. When they wanted to kill me, went to Obi of Onitsha and asked him, what do we do to Nnamdi Kanu? That one said you can kill him if you want. They went to Atusia. Atusia told them you can never touch him. If you touch him, this person will burn. How many times has the US government been to Enugu? They go to Ohaneze. I don't want to say it. They went to Ohaneze and the governors. They asked them, what do you want? Oh, leave those rascals, leave them. Miscreants. We want restructuring. What they're asking for is untenable. But the same man said if there is no restructuring, they'll join IPOB to do Biafra, isn't it? Did he complete what he said? No. Is he doing what he said he's going to do? No. And you want me to work with these people?
It's not going to work.
I say, and I'm attached to come know him. Everything I do, I say it in the open. Not gossip. And those that spoke to Uche, I am going to Chicago to broadcast live to the whole world and tell them they're in trouble. I've told them Nanyanya, every dime they contributed to IPOB will be announced for the world to hear. Tell them there'll be no hiding place for gossipers, in as much as I'm concerned, because I know what I have committed to this very movement. Not that I'll become Biafra president, no, so that I can take Nnamdi and Nnamdi back to the land of his ancestors, to that same land that Chukwu Kabiyama said, you people must be here. And then my badge, I'm a Mariano. I'm fighting for Biafra that we may be free. Thank you.
It was just last week that Nnamdi was responding to 100 billion given to the Fulani herdsmen. And he said, these people go around with their guns killing people. And you didn't do anything. You turned around armless civilians that are not covering their face. They're just agitating for a referendum. You call them terrorists. Isn't he a wellers or lamentations? They're just thinking out loud. This man understands that the Biafrans are divided. I used to tell someone, I said, the very first day they saw Ohamadike, Eastern senators drove into the east. The whole Nigeria nearly had a heart attack. Because this young man here, for the first time, got the senators and all the powers in the east talking. That's what they don't want to see. And they ended up nearly killing him, because it's the person that is driving the Biafrans to where they should be. But, like you always said, we are resolute. We will continue to march forward. IPOB, one family. IPOB, one family. IPOB, one family. The next question is coming from Chigozie Agubata. Are you here?
IPOB, one family. IPOB, one family.
Naya Amadike Gade, Udoga Dregi, Chuga Gozegi, Nije Ginile, Chuka Biama, Gababume. He said, my question is this. When I came here, I was marveled looking at the people gathering over here for the purpose of IPOB and the people of Biafra. I want to ask you, if we live here, are you committed? You are asking the Supreme Leader this question over and over for hours and asking the question. Now I want to throw this question to the floor here. Looking at me, everyone. See, let me tell you, I know where I came from. You know my name. Only few of you can even know me. On September 2017, when that happening in Abia State, I can recall my brother over there, Babasi, and Timo Kafo, and many Nani, the elder. So we gathered together under one IPOB. But that makes me to know we have many IPOB that we are still talking about today. I want to know this division. As Igbo Nweheze. But Igbo Nweheze. Mana awo jindi Igbo na Igbo Nweheze. Igbo Nweheze. But Igbo Nweheze. My question is, I asked it before, if we leave now, we pay that $20, it seems like it's too much. We pay the $20, it seems like it's too small. Could you believe that this number of people here will pay $20 every month just for a sacrifice? Do you know what it will deserve for this IPOB in Canada? We went to Ottawa. I have it here. The reason I didn't display it was the time they are tackling people on social media. My wife was there. The house was like 200 people. But when the call came to go to Ottawa for protest, everybody disappeared. And we are gathered here, we are IPOB. Where do you belong to? Show example and let's lead. God bless you.
Ahmadike, there's one of us, he has some artistic talent. And there's a very unique picture he would like to present to you. That was a picture where you were in court. And I'm calling on Frank Most to please. Can you clap for him, please? IPOB,
one family.
IPOB,
One family.
one family.
IPOB.
Ahmadike, I'm happy to see you today. I thank you for what you have been doing for us and what you continue doing for us. May Chukwu keep blessing you. I have something for you. And this thing I'm giving you, when I look at this picture, it inspires me a lot. Thank you so much.
Tell him he will not judge me.
Madika, can we see the picture, please? What is written there is, the Lion of Biafra roars in the courts. You cannot accuse me in the open and try me in secret. You cannot be killing my people and want to try me in secret. You are mad. Thank you, Frank. Thank you very much, Frank. As we're taking the next question of Ahmadike, there are Ottawa family. It's like 4 hours from here. That's the capital of Canada. They were not able to be with us yesterday, but they are today. If you don't mind, they'd like to take a piece of you back to Ottawa. Ottawa people, can you please come, please? One family. One family.
Biafra forever.
Yes. Biafra land. Everybody that sacrificed to this very struggle must be recognized, and that's what we're doing tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be leaving here by 11. The police cruiser there and the security people will be leaving by 11. So we're very close to the closing time. So, and we will take just very few questions. And I'm going to ask Dr. Chidi Wanyang for 2 minutes, please. Not more than 2 minutes.
Ahmadike, I already told you how much respect I have for you. The problem, because I am one of the die-hard believers in the Igbo community. We have done our best, we have sacrificed for our community. When I was the president of Nigerian Canadian Association here, and we were protesting against the ills that was going on, I went to about 3 organizations that were Biafra organizations, and I donated money in all of these places. My problem is this: I want you in the presence of Igbo people here this night to tell us who are the authentic and recognized group that you guys identify with. I want to hear it from your mouth. That's just all I want to see, because every time we step out of here, before tomorrow, you're going to see people public. I was actually taken out of the Nigerian Canadian group today because I was trying to post something, and I was the former president, and I know why they took me out, because of our very people here. So I want you to address our people, so that when you leave, we will know the people that we are, that when we are working with them, we know that they are transmitting to you directly. Thank you very much.
IPOB! One family. It is very, very distressing that our brother, who is the, or who was the immediate past president of Zoo Group here, you know, we have the lives of Okorawasa and all the rest of them. There is also some Okorawasas in Canada. You will have them everywhere you go to. They are to remain as in the north sometime in the past. So they'll be there always. But in terms of, can you stand up, Tim? That's our coordinator, the whole of Canada. And where is our, that is the Ontario coordinator as well. That is also our general secretary. If you want to deal with IPOB in Canada, these are the people you'll be dealing with. If you're dealing with them, then you're dealing with me. Anything outside team is not authentic. Please understand this very, very clearly. And our people who are here, sometimes it's becoming very, very embarrassing the way some of us behave, to be honest. Very embarrassing. The progress of our people is the responsibility of each and every one of us here. Sometimes, after the libation and the breaking of kola nut, some of you don't know that sharing of kola nut is an oath. Yes. Do you know that? Yes. People don't understand it. The reason why you give somebody kola nut in your house, you break and you eat, is that to reassure that person that no harm can befall him or her, that your hands are clean. But we turn our culture upside down, maybe because I grew up in the village. They never hand them on a town, they throw a town. Because if you grew up in the village, you understand the meaning of camaraderie, working with people and trying to deliver a particular goal or result. Those that grew up in the township, actually we. I want to see Lagos for the Mayaka and I want us to turn a new leaf. Let it be said that IPOB came into Canada and we became a new people. Because the story of Biafra and IPOB will not be complete with what I've seen today without Canada in it. Amen. And that means that all of you will partake in it. Some of you think that when Biafra comes, maybe it will be leadership only. Nobody who is a leader in IPOB will serve when Biafra comes. Biafran people will elect people that will serve them. One was asking me, what is your structure? I said, structure? I said, what is your structure? Structure of a commanding on easy can never get in here. Let him know where to fit in. We are here to serve you, and you are here to also serve Biafra. IPOB, one family.
We will be moving faster. There are people, family members that were not in our meeting yesterday, like Prince, like Martin. Can you please come forward? Or Hamadika will just take a quick picture with you, and then we will make closing remarks and then go. While that is going on, I want to remind you there are people that have been coming to us and we'll be giving them letters for immigration. All of them are successful, even though Nigerian government said IPOB is a terrorist organization. Canada said no. They do recognize that the people are running away from being hurt by a repressive government. What we do not want is people coming to beg us. We are under oath not to abuse those letters that we send to government. If you're not a member of IPOB, we will not give you a letter. So if you want to join IPOB, if you're not an IPOB member before, once you set your foot in Canada, you go and register with your closest IPOB office, the nearest province. Are they ready, Martin? Are they ready? Yes. Come on, come quickly, 1 second. That's it. Ahmadike, please. No, please, please, please. I don't want to. Okay, that's it. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. That's it. We're good. Okay. Thank you guys. It's okay, Hamadika. We're good. Like. No, no, no. It's okay. It's okay, please. It's
God, Elohim Adonai El Shaddai, the beginning and the end, the architect of our lives. We thank you for a very successful day. We thank you, Elohim, for the gathering of your children, and we pray that not only will IPOB be sustained by these your children here gathered today, but that through their efforts, your promised land, Biafra, will be restored. We ask you to guide them one after the other. These are your children that I pray for 7 times every day. This same noble family, that as you gathered us here today, so shall we return safely to our respective homes. Nothing untoward shall befall us. Your blessing that we are taking away from here will guide and lead us as we turn a new leaf, as we all become freedom fighters for Biafra, that your will may be done upon our lives, and glory unto your holy name, now and forevermore we pray.
He said.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nnamdi Kanu, Amadike. Nnamdi Kanu, Amadike. Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu, Amadike. Nnamdi Kanu.